In the bustling city of Millbrook, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and revenge unfolded over 2 decades. At the center of this saga were Olivia Reed and Marcus Thornton, 2 individuals whose paths intertwined in a dance of success and deceit that would ultimately shake the foundations of their carefully constructed world. Olivia Reed was born in 1975 to a middle-class family in Millbrook. From her earliest years, she displayed a keen intellect and an insatiable drive for success. Her parents, both dedicated educators, instilled in her profound love for learning and a formidable work ethic. As she progressed through her education, Olivia's exceptional abilities in mathematics and economics became increasingly apparent, culminating in her earning a full scholarship to a prestigious Ivy League university. Marcus Thornton, born in 1970, came from a background of old money and privilege. His family's wealth, amassed through generations of shrewd investments and political connections, afforded him a life of luxury and opportunity. Despite his privileged upbringing, Marcus was determined to make his own mark on the world. He pursued his education at an elite business school, where he honed his natural talent for strategy and networking. The paths of these 2 ambitious individuals converged in the summer of 1997 at a finance conference in a major metropolitan city. Olivia, fresh out of college and working as a junior analyst at a well-respected firm, found herself immediately drawn to Marcus's confidence and charm. In turn, Marcus was captivated by Olivia's sharp wit and unbridled ambition. Their connection was instant and electric, beginning with an intense late-night discussion about market trends and culminating in a romantic walk through a nearby park as the sun rose over the city skyline. Their whirlwind romance progressed rapidly, and within a year they were engaged. Their wedding in the fall of 1998 was a lavish affair, the social event of the season in Millbrook. To all who attended, the union seemed perfect, a marriage of intellectual equals, both driven by ambition and a shared vision for success. The early years of their marriage were marked by rapid professional growth and personal happiness. The couple settled in Millbrook, where Marcus established his own consulting firm with Olivia serving as the chief financial officer. Their complementary skills made them a formidable team in the business world. Marcus's business acumen and visionary ideas, combined with Olivia's financial expertise and strategic thinking, drove their company to new heights with remarkable speed. As their business flourished, so did their social standing in Millbrook. The Thorntons quickly became fixtures in the city's elite circles, hosting extravagant parties and generously supporting local charities. Their home, a sprawling mansion in the most exclusive neighborhood of Millbrook, became a symbol of their success and the envy of their peers. To the outside world, Marcus and Olivia Thornton appeared to have it all: a thriving business, a beautiful home, and a strong, loving partnership. Friends and acquaintances often remarked on their apparent devotion to each other, noting the longing looks and gentle touches they shared even after years of marriage. The Thorntons seemed to be living a real-life fairy tale, a perfect example of a power couple who had successfully balanced their personal and professional lives. However, beneath this veneer of marital bliss and professional success, the seeds of betrayal had already been planted. These seeds would eventually sprout and grow, threatening to destroy everything the Thorntons had built together. The first cracks in the Thorntons' perfect facade began to show in the spring of 2006. Olivia, who had always prided herself on her keen intuition, started to notice subtle changes in Marcus's behavior. His late nights at the office became more frequent, and his explanations for these extended hours grew increasingly vague and evasive. The affectionate gestures that had once been so natural between them now seemed forced and perfunctory. Driven by a gnawing suspicion, Olivia began to pay closer attention to Marcus's movements and communications. She noticed mysterious charges on their credit card statements and overheard hushed phone conversations that abruptly ended when she entered the room. Despite her growing unease, Olivia maintained a calm exterior, unwilling to confront Marcus without concrete evidence. The confirmation of her worst fears came on a rainy Tuesday afternoon in April. Marcus had left his laptop at home while rushing to a meeting. As Olivia passed by the device, a notification popped up on the screen. An email from an unknown address with the subject line, "Can't wait to see you tonight, my love." With trembling hands, Olivia opened the message, and in that moment, she felt her world shatter around her. The email was from Sophia Laurent, a French art dealer whom Marcus had met at a business conference in Paris the previous year. The message detailed their ongoing affair in explicit terms, leaving no doubt about the depth of their relationship. Attached were intimate photos that twisted the knife even further into Olivia's heart. As she sat there, staring at the undeniable proof of her husband's infidelity, Olivia experienced a maelstrom of emotions. Shock gave way to anger, then to a deep, aching sense of betrayal. Tears streamed down her face as she thought of the years she had dedicated to building their life together, only to have it all undermined by Marcus's selfish actions. But as the initial wave of emotions subsided, a cold, calculating resolve began to take its place. Olivia realized that she had a choice to make. She could confront Marcus and risk losing everything they had built together, or she could bide her time and craft a revenge so complete that it would destroy him utterly. In that moment, as rain lashed against the windows of their mansion, Olivia Thornton made a decision that would set in motion a chain of events that would change their lives forever. She chose revenge. In the days following her discovery, Olivia moved through her daily routine like an automaton, her mind constantly churning with plans and possibilities. She knew that if she was to have her revenge, it would require patience, cunning, and an iron will. Olivia was determined to hit Marcus where it would hurt him most, his pride and his wallet. The first step in Olivia's plan was to ensure that Marcus remained oblivious to her knowledge of his affair. She drew upon her considerable acting skills, honed through years of navigating high society events, to present a facade of normalcy. She continued to play the role of the devoted wife, all the while observing Marcus's every move with new eyes. As she watched him go about his daily life, lying effortlessly and taking her devotion for granted, Olivia's resolve only strengthened. She began to formulate a plan that would not only secure her financial future, but also bring Marcus to his knees. The opportunity to set her plan in motion presented itself sooner than she had anticipated. Over dinner one evening, Marcus mentioned a potential new venture, a revolutionary financial technology platform that he believed could transform the industry. His eyes gleamed with excitement as he spoke of the potential profits and prestige such a project could bring. Olivia saw her chance and seized it. She listened intently, asking insightful questions and offering enthusiastic support. Over the next few weeks, she subtly guided Marcus's thinking, using her financial expertise to highlight the potential benefits of the venture. She suggested that they invest heavily in the project, positioning it as a way to secure their future and leave a lasting legacy. Marcus, blinded by his own ambition and Olivia's apparent support, agreed wholeheartedly. Together, they began to pour substantial resources into developing the platform. Olivia insisted on being closely involved in every aspect of the project, citing her desire to fully support Marcus's vision. Behind the scenes, however, Olivia was laying the groundwork for her grand deception. She meticulously created a network of shell companies and offshore accounts, carefully hidden beneath layers of legitimate transactions. As the company began to generate profits, Olivia implemented a complex system of financial misdirection, siphoning off small amounts that would go unnoticed in the grand scheme of things. To further cover her tracks, Olivia cultivated relationships with key players in the financial world. She attended conferences, joined professional organizations, and built a reputation as a savvy businesswoman in her own right. These connections would prove invaluable in the years to come, providing her with both information and potential allies. Throughout this period, Olivia maintained her composure with remarkable discipline. She continued to play the role of the supportive wife, even as she worked tirelessly to undermine everything Marcus held dear. There were moments when the weight of her deception threatened to overwhelm her, but she would steel herself by remembering the pain of Marcus's betrayal. As the months turned into years, Olivia's secret fortune grew, hidden away in accounts across the globe. She knew that her plan would take time to come to fruition, but she was prepared to wait. After all, revenge, like the finest wine, only improves with age. Over the next decade, the Thorntons Company grew from a promising startup into a juggernaut of the financial technology world. Marcus Thornton became a celebrated figure in business circles, lauded for his visionary leadership and innovative approach. Olivia stood by his side at every public appearance, the picture of a supportive and proud wife. Behind closed doors, however, Olivia was the true architect of the company's success. Her financial acumen and strategic thinking were the driving forces behind the company's most successful initiatives. She worked tirelessly, not only to ensure the company's growth but also to perfect her intricate system of embezzlement. As the company expanded, so did the opportunities for Olivia to divert funds. She created a labyrinth of transactions, each one carefully designed to be just small enough to avoid detection. Profits were funneled through a series of intermediary companies before ending up in her secret accounts. Olivia took advantage of international banking laws and cryptocurrency to further obscure the money trail. Marcus, caught up in the whirlwind of success and his ongoing affair with Sophia, remained blissfully unaware of Olivia's machinations. He basked in the glow of public adoration, accepting awards and giving keynote speeches at prestigious events. His inflated sense of self-importance made him even more susceptible to Olivia's subtle manipulations. Olivia used Marcus's ego to her advantage. She encouraged him to take more risks, to expand into new markets, and to make bold acquisitions. Each new venture provided her with fresh opportunities to siphon off funds. She was careful to ensure that the company remained profitable and continued to grow, knowing that its success was crucial to maintaining her cover. As the years passed, Olivia's secret fortune grew to staggering proportions. She invested wisely, diversifying her hidden portfolio to include real estate, precious metals, and art. She even set up a separate identity, complete with impeccable documentation, which she would use to manage her assets and eventually make her escape. Throughout this period, Olivia maintained her public persona with unwavering dedication. She chaired charity events, cultivated friendships with influential people, and even wrote a best-selling book on financial empowerment for women. Her reputation as a brilliant businesswoman and philanthropist grew, providing her with a network of contacts that would prove invaluable in the future. The strain of living a double life did take its toll on Olivia. There were nights when she lay awake, questioning the morality of her actions. But then she would remember the look of adoration on Marcus's face when he was with Sophia, or overhear him making plans for another secret rendezvous, and her resolve would harden once more. As the company approached its 10th anniversary, Olivia knew that the time to execute the final phase of her plan was drawing near. The company had reached a peak in its valuation, and market analysts were beginning to question whether its growth could be sustained. Olivia recognized that this was the perfect moment to strike, when Marcus's guard was down and the financial world was still singing his praises. In preparation for her endgame, Olivia began to subtly withdraw from her roles in both the company and their social life. She cited a desire to focus on her philanthropic work and personal projects. Marcus, self-absorbed as ever, barely noticed the change. He was too preoccupied with maintaining his public image and managing his affair to pay much attention to his wife's activities. As the pieces of her plan fell into place, Olivia felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation. She had spent 13 years meticulously crafting her revenge, and soon she would see it come to fruition. The empire she had helped build was about to crumble, and from its ashes she would emerge reborn, wealthy beyond measure, and finally free from the shackles of her fraudulent marriage. Despite Olivia's meticulous planning and execution, there were several moments over the years when her scheme came dangerously close to unraveling. These close calls served as stark reminders of the precarious nature of her deception and forced her to adapt and refine her methods constantly. One of the most harrowing incidents occurred in 2012 when the company underwent a routine audit by an external firm. The lead auditor, a sharp-eyed accountant named Daniel Foster, began to ask pointed questions about certain discrepancies he had noticed in the company's financial records. Olivia's heart raced as she realized that Foster was dangerously close to uncovering her embezzlement scheme. Thinking quickly, Olivia orchestrated a series of distractions and misdirections. She accidentally spilled coffee on Foster's laptop, necessitating a delay in the audit. During this time, she worked feverishly to patch the holes in her financial smokescreen. When the audit resumed, Olivia had managed to cover her tracks, but the experience left her shaken and more cautious than ever. Another complication arose in 2015 when Marcus unexpectedly decided to bring in a new CFO, citing his desire for Olivia to have more time for her philanthropic pursuits. The new CFO, Harrison Wells, was known for his forensic approach to financial management. Olivia knew that Wells's presence posed a significant threat to her operations. To neutralize this threat, Olivia employed a multifaceted approach. She used her extensive network to gather compromising information on Wells, which she kept as insurance. Simultaneously, she befriended Wells's wife, Evelyn, integrating herself into their personal lives. This allowed Olivia to subtly influence Wells's decisions and keep him focused on areas of the business that wouldn't interfere with her plans. Perhaps the closest call came in 2017 when Marcus's mistress, Sophia, began to grow dissatisfied with her role as the other woman. In a fit of jealousy, Sophia threatened to expose the affair to Olivia. Unbeknownst to both Marcus and Sophia, Olivia intercepted this threat. Recognizing the potential for this situation to derail her carefully laid plans, Olivia took decisive action. She anonymously provided Sophia with evidence of Marcus's other indiscretions, effectively turning Sophia against him. Simultaneously, she manipulated events to make Marcus believe that Sophia was becoming a liability. The result was a messy but quiet end to their affair, with Olivia's involvement remaining hidden. Each of these close calls left Olivia increasingly paranoid and isolated. The constant stress of maintaining her facade while orchestrating her complex revenge began to take a toll on her mental and physical health. Yet each near discovery only strengthened her resolve. She knew that she had come too far and sacrificed too much to let her plan fail now. As 2019 dawned, Olivia sensed that the time had come to set the final stage of her plan in motion. The company had reached its zenith, with a market valuation that exceeded even Marcus's wildest dreams. The financial world was at their feet, and Marcus's ego had never been more inflated. It was the perfect moment for Olivia to pull the rug out from under him. Over the past few months, Olivia had been methodically transferring her hidden assets to her alter ego, Amelia Sinclair. She had purchased a secluded villa in the south of France under this name and had begun the process of establishing a new life there. Every detail was meticulously planned, from her new wardrobe to the carefully crafted backstory she would use in her new community. In preparation for her disappearance, Olivia began to plant seeds of doubt about the company's future prospects among key investors and industry analysts. She used her network of contacts to spread subtle rumors about potential regulatory issues and market saturation. Her goal was to create a climate of uncertainty that would exacerbate the chaos that would follow her vanishing act. Olivia also took steps to ensure that the authorities would be led down false paths in their inevitable investigation. She carefully crafted a trail of evidence suggesting that she had been embezzling money on a much smaller scale than was actually the case. This false trail would serve to distract investigators from the true extent of her scheme and muddy the waters of the financial investigation that would follow. On the home front, Olivia began to distance herself emotionally from Marcus, citing stress and a need for personal space. She spoke of taking a solo vacation to find herself, laying the groundwork for her disappearance. Marcus, self-absorbed as ever, barely registered these changes in his wife's behavior. The night before her planned departure, Olivia allowed herself a moment of reflection. She stood in her walk-in closet, surrounded by the trappings of the life she was about to leave behind: expensive jewelry, designer clothes, and photographs of a smiling couple that no longer existed. For a brief moment, she felt a pang of doubt. Was she really prepared to throw away 13 years of her life? But then she remembered the pain of Marcus's betrayal, the years of living a lie, and the future that awaited her. With renewed determination, she finished packing a small, inconspicuous suitcase with the essentials she would need for her new life. Everything else, the clothes, the jewels, the memories, would be left behind, a final act of shedding her old identity. As she lay in bed for the last time next to her sleeping, oblivious husband, Olivia allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. Tomorrow, Olivia Thornton would cease to exist, and her masterpiece of revenge would be complete. On the morning of September 15, 2019, Marcus Thornton woke to find the other side of the bed empty. This in itself was not unusual. Olivia was often an early riser. What was unusual was the silence that permeated the house. No smell of coffee brewing, no sound of the shower running or closet doors opening. Marcus called out for Olivia, his voice echoing through the empty rooms. As the minutes ticked by and his calls went unanswered, a sense of unease began to creep over him. He checked her closet, noting with growing alarm that some of her clothes were missing. Her favorite suitcase was gone from the attic. In the kitchen, he found a note propped against the coffee maker: "I need some time to myself. Don't try to find me." Oh. At first, Marcus assumed Olivia had simply followed through on her talk of a solo vacation. But as the hours passed and his calls to her cell phone went straight to voicemail, his concern deepened. By evening, with still no word from Olivia, Marcus finally called the police to report her missing. The news of Olivia Thornton's disappearance spread through Millbrook like wildfire. Search parties were organized, and flyers were distributed throughout the city and surrounding areas. The local media picked up the story, and soon Olivia's face was plastered across television screens and newspapers nationwide. Behind the scenes, however, the investigation was taking an unexpected turn. As detectives dug into the Thorntons' financial records, they began to uncover discrepancies. Small at first, but growing larger and more numerous as they delved deeper. It soon became clear that this was no ordinary missing persons case. As days turned into weeks with no sign of Olivia, the focus of the investigation shifted. What had started as a search for a missing woman was rapidly evolving into a complex financial crimes investigation. Authorities discovered evidence of long-term embezzlement, though the full extent of the fraud remained elusive. Marcus, initially viewed as a distraught husband, soon found himself under intense scrutiny. As more details of the financial irregularities came to light, suspicion fell heavily on him. His reputation, once sterling, was now tarnished by accusations of fraud and questions about his possible involvement in Olivia's disappearance. The company that Marcus and Olivia had built together began to crumble under the weight of the scandal. Investors pulled out in droves, and the stock price plummeted. Clients distanced themselves, unwilling to be associated with the taint of financial impropriety. What had once been a shining example of success in the financial technology world was now a cautionary tale of greed and deception. As the weeks turned into months, the true magnitude of Olivia's scheme began to emerge. Forensic accountants uncovered a complex web of offshore accounts and shell companies, all leading back to Olivia. The amount of money involved was staggering, far beyond what anyone had initially suspected. Marcus, his world collapsing around him, struggled to come to terms with the betrayal. He couldn't reconcile the Olivia he thought he knew with the mastermind behind this elaborate fraud. As he was subjected to endless questioning by authorities and vilified in the press, the full weight of his own betrayal began to sink in. He realized, too late, the role his own actions had played in driving Olivia to such extremes. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Amelia Sinclair was settling into her new life in a picturesque village in the south of France. She spent her days tending to her garden, learning to paint, and slowly integrating herself into the local community. To her neighbors, she was a charming widow who had moved to France to start a new chapter in her life. In quiet moments, as she sipped wine on her terrace overlooking the Mediterranean, Amelia would think back on her former life as Olivia Thornton. She felt a complex mix of emotions: satisfaction at the success of her plan, a twinge of guilt for the collateral damage, but mostly a sense of freedom. She had escaped the gilded cage of her marriage and the exhausting charade of her double life. As the months passed, the media frenzy around the Thornton scandal gradually died down. Marcus, facing multiple charges of financial fraud, prepared for a lengthy legal battle. The company they had built together was dismantled, its assets sold off to pay back investors and settle lawsuits. Olivia Thornton remained officially classified as a missing person, though most now assumed she had fled with the embezzled funds. Despite exhaustive international searches, no trace of her was ever found. The woman once known as Olivia Thornton had vanished as completely as the millions she had taken with her. In her new life as Amelia Sinclair, the former Olivia found a peace she had never known in her years of wealth and status. She had traded the adrenaline rush of high finance and the glitter of society events for simpler pleasures: the taste of fresh bread from the local bakery, the sound of church bells echoing through the village, the warmth of genuine friendships unburdened by ulterior motives. Yet there were moments when she wondered about the cost of her revenge. The lives disrupted, the dreams shattered, the trust broken. She had achieved her goal of destroying Marcus, but in doing so, she had also destroyed a part of herself. The Olivia who had once believed in love and partnership was gone, replaced by a woman who had learned to trust only herself. As the years passed, Amelia Sinclair became a respected member of her adopted community. She used a portion of her hidden wealth to anonymously support local charities and educational initiatives, finding a sense of purpose in giving back that she had never experienced in her former life of conspicuous consumption. The saga of the Thorntons faded into history, becoming little more than a cautionary tale in business schools and a footnote in discussions of financial regulation. But for Amelia Sinclair, formerly Olivia Thornton, it remained a constant reminder of the power of patience, the danger of deceit, and the high price of revenge. In the end, as she watched the sun set over the Mediterranean, Amelia realized that her elaborate scheme had given her something she hadn't initially sought: not just revenge, but redemption. In losing everything she had once valued, she had found something far more precious: authenticity, peace, and the freedom to finally be herself.